Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Almost Brothers podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about why is it so hard to just surrender? Surrender your all. I don't know. But we're going to talk about it. Coming up. Do y'all ever just want to dance during that, since we're on video now, to kind of feel that?
Yes.
Oh my, that'd be so funny if we just all like.
I was even thinking about it, but then I was like, oh, the camera.
Camera over there.
I don't care.
Man, that'd be so fun. Just all around the table. Then we rush back to our seat. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again, whether video or audio. I love it. I love doing this, man. I'm excited. I'm glad we got to do it tonight. We almost had to, we all got kids and busy lives, so it's late. It's late, but I'm glad we get to do it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yep.
But as you can see, we have 3 of the 4 amigos here tonight. Missy, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It's like, how do I answer that?
Oh my gosh, like last time.
Speechless.
I watched that video and it just cracked me up because it was like the Lord was just like, you don't say anything.
But our 4th member is on the road right now. Babe, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Tired.
What are you tired from? I did all the work today.
Right.
See, she's not here to slap me, so.
Right. Get by with that.
Please be asleep when I get home. But yeah, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about just why is it so hard to surrender? Not so much surrender, but surrender all. Surrender everything. It seems like one of the hardest things to do when it comes to our Christian walk is to surrender it all. And we want to keep a little piece to ourselves. So why y'all think that is?
Well, what came to my mind when we, first, thank you for that. When we first started talking about this was, I think there was times when I decided, I am going to surrender all, but then I would, go back on that. Like I'm going to give God just enough to get me out of the mess that I'm in, get me comfortable again, and then I'm going to go do my own thing again. Yeah. And so that seemed like that was a back and forth battle for a long time for me. And, I don't know. There was a point where it's like, you have to surrender and get there and stay there, like not go back to my old, my ways and do things my way. And so I don't know. I think that's where I think people that come to Jesus and then they try to surrender it all, and then they face some opposition. As things start going bad, sometimes they say things get, bad before they get better, or get harder before they get better. And I think that, sometimes people give up, and so, and I think that that's a real struggle for people. Yeah. I know it was for me personally.
Yeah. That's kind of what I talked about tonight in services is, we start on this path and then we seem to struggle with the same things, of giving it up. And then we say, I'm just going to keep struggling with it, so I'm just going to go all in the opposite way of of the Lord. And it really is. It's so much easier to just give in and say, you know what, I'm going to keep struggling with it, so forget it. I'm just going to give up. But how do you combat those, Missy? I know you've been in the ministry for a while. But how do you combat that feeling of just wanting to just give in to that one thing that you keep struggling with?
Right. I think, you look at scripture and so many times it talks about how we need to kill our flesh, basically. So in essence, we have to learn to be selfless and not selfish. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of it. Like, we want to gratify ourselves in a lot of ways. And so that instant gratification, it's that initial thing we think, oh, that's what we want. We don't want to give that up. But God is wanting a deeper level, and it's not that He's not wanting to, gratify us. It is, but it's a process of that surrendering, and that's killing, that part of you that is against the Lord in a sense, And I don't know. I mean, I think it's just daily surrendering. It's daily giving yourself to the Lord. It's taking up that cross and following Him. But I don't even remember what you asked, what the question was, because I wanted to say that at the beginning.
Yeah. Are you still? I know we were talking about getting like little notepads for all of us.
Right?
so we
That's
can
going to be a
remember.
good idea, but it's also going to be hectic because I'm going to have things wrote down and I'm just going to go with it, even if we've passed it, even if we're not.
Well,
like, wait.
One moment.
About 15 minutes ago.
Good point.
What was the question? I totally forgot.
Kind of how do you stop yourself from when you want to say, you know what, I keep struggling with the same thing, so I'm just going to give into it. How do you kind
Right.
of keep yourself from doing that?
For me, it's just stay in focus, because you want to give in. A lot of the times, it's you lose focus. You shift your eyes off of Jesus and onto self or onto circumstances, and when you continually feel like you're failing in something, why try anymore? Mm-hmm. And so it's getting yourself and say, you know what, I might fall 7 times, but I'm going to get right back up, and learning that art of, you know what, I tried, and then I'm gonna give it another try, and I always, like I was telling the girls at Jeremiah House, I've been able to teach on several nights a week, and I told them, there will be times sometimes where you feel like that same thing, where you just the same thing over and over again, but if you look back and you see how far you've come, or when was the last time you fell to that?
Yeah.
Maybe it's 3 days ago. Well, you went 3 days.
Yeah.
Give yourself some grace,
Yeah.
and say, you know what, I'm making it, and then try to go a little bit longer, and a little bit longer, and eventually you're gonna get there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know one thing, which we've talked about on the show a few times is, when me and Jamie were struggling in our relationship. So, babe, my question to you is kind of the same way. Everything kind of mirrors itself, in the spiritual and in the physical. So, how did you overcome being able to give your all back to me again after kind of this rough time that we went through?
What's the question?
Oh my gosh! That's what I gotta do.
I was the same way earlier.
She's
She's got a lot going on.
Someone broke a hanger and your dog started barking and needed taken out.
It's not my dog. It's
and-
Lee's dog. It's not my dog.
And the kids are getting ready for bed. What
Just
was
because
the
we're like Turner and Hooch, me and Ghost. My question was, I said, we everything kind of mirrors itself in the spiritual and in the natural. So my question to you, my love, the apple of my eye, was how were you able to give all of yourself to me after we went through such a hard time through our marriage?
That's a good question. A lot of prayer. I struggled a lot with asking myself who was I, who was you, if this was even worth fighting for. I don't know. It was a team of people around me that just loved me and prayed for me and prayed over me and prayed over you. And, it took a lot to pick myself back up again. And there are still days where I question, my self-worth, or am I being a good wife? Am I being a good mother? Where are some ways to improve that? Or, yeah. But in time and after, of course I love you and you love me, and I think we both knew that, but it took more than just love. It took putting God first in our marriage. It took learning how to communicate. It took trust again. That was a big one. Yeah. I don't know if I answered that question,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think probably better. Do you need to be on the phone from now on? Like, you bringing the heat.
I had to like give Zaylee like my threatening look to be quiet because she wanted to come in here and scream.
You got Missy tearing up over here.
Because it is sometimes that is even harder than giving the Lord your all. Is giving that other person, because you know that the Lord's not going to fail. You know that the Lord's got your back and He's not going to let you down, but you don't know if that other person is going to let you down.
Absolutely.
Right. That's right.
And that's a scary thing. That for me was probably what caused kind of that rift in our marriage. Is that I didn't want to completely give myself to my wife. I wanted to, to keep some of that. We've talked about it, kind of where you have that mentality of I'm married, but I want to be single. I want to go and hang out with friends, not so much date someone else, but just go out with my friends and do the single things and not be a great partner. So I failed in that, not giving all of myself to her. And I think that through kind of all the turmoil that we went through, it really strengthened both of us in being able to be broken by that other person and still be able to be put back together and still love each other. And it just, it made us so much stronger together as a unit. I hope.
Yeah. And kind of like what Missy was saying earlier is like, it don't have nothing to do with, our marriage or anything like that, but just dying to the flesh daily. Like you literally have to do that. Like when we tell our youth that, or when we tell people that, ministering, you have to like die to your flesh daily. Like you have to literally put it in your mindset, live it. And because every day, if you're just like, man, I want that drug, or I want to drink, and it's kind of like your mind has to catch it first. And you're like, no, that's not how I'm living. And you just have to give your all to the Lord and know that He will take that desire away.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Very good.
Yeah, and Jeremiah, I know you've talked about it before, just kind of your struggle with alcohol and stuff. And man, it's been awesome to see you rise above that, man, and really shine in that, being able to surrender that to the Lord, because it's always a big discussion in Christianity. Is it okay for a Christian to drink? Like sometimes, like is it, and I know some people have to really separate themselves from any of that.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to see how. I know you had a lot of great people. You had Missy, and you had a lot of great people in your life. But how was you able to, when you was by yourself, get in your own mind and kind of be able to get that want to do that and kind of put it away?
Man, that's good, because I fought with this for a long time, just like what our topic is. I would surrender long enough to kind of get back on my feet, and then I would go, I'd go back to it. I always struggled with it. I'd ask God to deliver me from it, and I'd ask forgiveness and I'd repent, but then I would always go back to it. And then something just this what's up, sissy? But then there was there was just a time where it's like, I know my wife praying for me was a giant part of it. Yeah. She was just relentless with praying for me and pleading the blood over me and marching around the house and telling the devil, you can't have him, Yeah. And that was awesome. I think I've told you about that before, I've never had anybody go to bat for me quite like that. I've had people pray for me, but not like that. And, but this last time, it's like, I felt like the Lord really, switched something in me. And He gave me different desires, and now I know He's not going to, leave me and forsake me. He says He won't, and so I just have to do my part to seek Him and keep that relationship, fresh and hot, and just, as long as I'm doing that, man, then I don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about it on the podcast, but I think we talked about it afterwards, about how I was being convicted about not sharing my testimony more, like to the fullest. We didn't air that.
No, we talked about it afterwards.
But it's just something I've been struggling with lately, because I've kind of downplayed where I came from.
Yeah.
And I just got this revelation on this, that it's almost like I'm robbing the glory that God deserves for the work that he did in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, because I wasn't just, I wasn't just kind of lame or just kind of addicted, or, and I was doing okay. And he kind of helped me out. I mean, I was a hopeless wreck. I was going nowhere. I had nothing going for me. And it was really, really bad, and I just don't ever want to downplay that anymore.
Yeah.
And so every chance I get an opportunity to tell my story and give my testimony, I just want to make that known, that it wasn't like, it would be like the beggar, or somebody that Jesus healed in the Bible, and then, turn around and say, well, I could kind of walk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I really wasn't that blind.
Yeah,
I could kind of see,
okay.
and that's taken away from the work that he done, and so I just want to be the same way.
Yeah.
I just want to be the same, and I always want to put that out there, that it wasn't like I was a pretty good dude before Jesus. I was not. I was a selfish individual, and I mean, sometimes I can still be selfish, but it's just, I was a horrible person, and I'm just, by God's grace and by his mercy and by his love, just that relentless love that pursued me, not, just never giving up on me. And then my wife praying for me, and just all these things coming together. God works these things together like you don't even see it coming. You know what I mean? Like, I never really got there because I didn't have, all the pieces weren't there,
Yeah.
It's just like whenever, I met Missy, and we got married and stuff, it's just like all these things kind of started, falling into place, and now I sit here today and I haven't drank for, coming up on a year, and it's just, and it's just one day at a time, but then again, I don't even worry about it anymore,
Right.
because I feel like God's really delivered me, and he's given me a helpmate to help me every day with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's, to me, I think the biggest blessing, man, is to get with somebody that you're knit together with, that when you do have those struggling days, they lift you up and they keep you going. I couldn't imagine doing it without James. Like, because and it's the smallest things, it's the smallest things that you can do for one another. Just a I love you text, or, I miss you today, and, stuff like that really is like the greatest thing. Like, I'll just smile. Like, I'll be in class and just be like, I just love her. It's like the greatest thing. And it's something so simple and so small, but it really does. It's so important to get knit with people. And not just your wife or your husband, but good friends, that you talk to every day, that you text.
Yeah.
Just even if it's goofy stuff, man,
Right.
it just help lift your spirits.
Right.
It's just awesome to be able to be knit together with people like that.
Right. I know my wife's big on encouragement, and saying encouraging words and stuff, and she's the best at it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really good at it, but my
thank
wife is the best at it.
One up.
She's definitely 2 up.
I gotta step my game up.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. And do you find you're like that because that's what you long for?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm emotional today. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything, like, if God's gifted you something in something, whether it's encouragement or, your works or anything like that, it's something that you're wanting someone to do for you. And so in a sense, you almost go overboard with it.
Yeah.
And most of the time the encourager is the one that's lacking encouragement.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that a lot of the times that's the way I live, and I'm hard to get to know anyway, and so it's hard for me. Like, I love that you guys have such a bond, and it's something that I long for,
Yeah.
in my own life. And I have Jeremiah, but sometimes he doesn't know what to do with me because I'm a girl, and just to have somebody,
Yeah.
But I feel like, God's putting me in a season so I will lean on him all the more, and that surrendering of just, what, I don't need nobody but him,
Yeah.
which is hard because it's dying to flesh. It's like, saying, okay, I'm okay with this, and I'm not okay with it right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm struggling with it, like, big time, because I've had some major things happen this last week, and I'm like, I told him, I was like, I am, like, I'm that give up
Yeah.
point, we're like, I don't know if I can take much more.
Yeah.
And not to be self-pity or or anything like that. It's just, there's times where I just need that encouragement,
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so today I'm like, you know what? If you're needing encouragement, if you're filled with like, feeling like, things aren't going right, find someone to encourage, find someone to pour into. And that's so that today I was just like, okay, Lord, I'm going to do that. And it was somebody in my past, and I was just like, how you doing? And she unloaded on me, she's not doing so good. And so, you're able to just encourage. And that was such a good thing to do, It has nothing to do with surrender, but
That's okay. We go off. we go off.
Man.
But anyways, but yeah, I think an encourager most of the time. If you see somebody that's super encouraging all the time, give that girl or guy an encouraging word, because more than likely
Pat
they
him on
need
the
it.
back or something.
Yes.
Man, I'm telling you. And it really can. It can do wonders.
Oh yeah.
Just the smallest things, man. It is. We always say this, like with jobs. Like me and Richard talked about this, where just a boss coming up to you, like, "Hey, man, I appreciate you." Mm-hmm. You have no idea, like, how much that will, like. Of course, a raise would be not. That's always a good thing.
Show me the money.
But even just an occurrence.
Oh, yeah.
I had one boss at the factory that shall not be named. That every week when we had paper checks. Every week, he would walk up to every one of his workers, hand them the check, look them in the eye, and say, "Hey, good work this week. I appreciate it. Thank you so much." And everybody around there wondered why everybody busted their tail for this guy. I'm like, that right there is why. Just something that simple
Right.
is why. A 2-second, "Hey, man, I appreciate it. Good job this week." It's like
Absolutely.
it's crazy. So yeah, just find somebody to be able to speak life into. If that's something that you're hurting and you're looking for. It's amazing how that will turn it around for you and being able to give that to somebody else.
Yep.
But yeah, babe, how's everything? Is everything all right? You're quiet.
Did you fall asleep?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still here.
What was that?
Say hi, Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, baby girl. What are you doing?
Nothing.
I love you.
I love you more.
No way, Jose. That's so funny.
If I was there, I would give Missy a big hug. So here's my air hug. I'm sending your way.
That's funny.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Did you feel
Did you feel that? Did you
feel
feel
the embrace?
Yes.
That's funny.
I want to say
But
hi.
yeah, I know.
I want to say hi.
Okay.
You what?
She wants to say hi.
Oh my God.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, baby. I know one thing a lot of people struggle with, especially married people with kids, is I see it. I see a lot of where the man or the wife, they'll give their kids their all. Like they're giving everything they can to their kids. But then their relationship is struggling because of that. How, and babe, I'll start with you and just go around you and then how do you think is the best way to kind of even that out? Because of course our kids need our love, but our relationships need nurturing as well. And we tend to kind of focus all of ourselves to our kids, and then we're just too tired for the rest. So how do you think is the best way, babe, to kind of juggle that? I'm hoping all this going around is like good questions.
Yeah.
I'm looking around and we need to clean our bedroom. That's what I'm looking at.
What does that got to do with anything?
No, I think date nights are important. We probably wouldn't survive without them. And just like communication. Like if I haven't actually like sat down and talked to you, which is almost hard to do because we have such a busy schedule. You're either at the church or I'm at work and you're at the school or whatever we have going on. It's just, even if it's through text, like communication is probably so important. Just to like sit down and have a conversation about what happened or what you're going through, or just getting out of the house. That's
Even our Walmart trips. I love them.
Love the Walmart trips.
Oh, or like just like every now and then we'll go to Papa Bluff just to like get coffee, just me and her, and go get, and it's like the greatest little time, just us. And we don't really, it's not like this big monumental thing, you know. It's just it's nice to just be able to talk, and we usually the radio's off the whole time, and we just sit and talk about usually the kids, but still it's, you know. But is that what y'all kind of try to do, is kind of be able to date night, or?
I'll let Jeremiah
It's
handle
what we
this one.
were just talking about
See this one?
on our way back up here.
Nice.
She was like, you know, I just need a date night. You know, we need to do something.
Confirmation.
You know, it's definitely confirmation. I know. I was sitting there the whole time you're talking. I'm just going, shut up. No, really, we love it. We go up to Cape every once in a while and just, like, I think the last time we were up there, we hit a walking trail up or something like that, and went and got $7 cup of coffee. Things like that.
No,
where did
Dunkin' Donuts.
No, what was the
No,
other?
it was
no,
that
wasn't.
other one.
Yeah, it was
I don't
another
know.
place. It's in Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really fancy.
Ooh,
really fancy.
Sounds like my kind of
It
spot.
was fantastic.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's great. So anyway, there's little things like that. But yes, we don't do that enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like, you know, we could do it once a week and it wouldn't be enough.
Right.
But no, I love spending time with her.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't like riding with her. Like we discussed the
Hard driving.
driving.
Yeah, I don't drive anymore.
She
I
literally
refuse.
has not drove since we got back from Tennessee, man. I'm not
Nope.
kidding.
I'm like, yeah.
I'm not
You
kidding.
gonna say something about my driving?
Yeah,
I'm
I
never
will not-
driving again.
That is so funny.
Yeah, and I don't even get a chance to fix that. You know, it's just I'm not driving no more.
Nope.
All
Okay,
right.
all right.
Dug my heels in.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But what do you think? Do you like date night with me?
Depends. Are we going on a deer cruise or?
That's my favorite.
Oh God.
That's my favorite.
Oh, I gotta tell you this though. He calls me, and he's like,
This was good.
"What do you and Max? You wanna like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm cooking supper. In the middle of cooking supper." He's like, "Yeah, you wanna get in the truck and we can go for a cruise and see if we can find some deer?" And I'm just like, the newlywed me would normally say, "Oh yeah, I just want to spend time with you," but I was a little sassy that day, and I'm like, that is exactly like. Why would I want to go and look for deer? Like, that is totally not something I would want to do. That's what you want to do.
I got off work and it was too late to go hunt. And so I was like, and I didn't just ask like right out like that either.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you and Max want to just get out there for a little bit?
Yeah, it was
You
like
know,
very
you guys,
set up.
You guys,
Very set up.
can you just pause the cooking for a little while and just, you guys want to get out for a little bit? She's like, yeah, that'd be great. I'm like, okay, we're going to go deer cruise. And she's like, what?
Just what?
Right. But back on the subject of that, yeah, I think, the relationship between husband and wife is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, you only have your kids, you have them for a short time.
Yeah.
But you'll have your spouse for, it could be 50 years. Jeremiah and I, probably not. I'm sorry, babe.
What?
But we're old.
I'm gonna be,
We're old already.
90. 90's not unhead of.
You're right.
Yeah, I probably won't make it to 90. I'm just going to be real. Jesus coming back. But look at the elections. Anyways, but, it's just so important to, but I struggle with that. That's what we were talking about today is I told him, I was like, I feel like as a mom, we give over here, we give over there, and we are the last to get anything.
Yeah.
And so it's so needed, like I'm just going to call you out, but for husbands to just, take care of us in a sense. Is notice, okay, when they're struggling, whenever they're at their wits' end, and get them out of that situation and just pour into them, just love.
Yeah.
Just put your arms around them and stuff like that. It's so important. And we, as wives, have got to do the same thing. We got to honor you and respect you and encourage you and stuff like that. It goes both ways. It's not just harping on men, but I know as a woman, that's just who we are. We're nurturers. We're caregivers. We give to everybody, and sometimes we just don't do it for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just not in us.
Love you, mommy.
I know. I know one thing that God really checked me on. I got checked pretty hard. Was I remember it was a few months ago, but we was arguing because like with my back, like certain days are just bad, certain days are okay, but what'll happen is my whole body just is wore out. So like she'll be up and she'll get home from work and then she'll start cooking. Like I'm like, babe, I was just too tired to do anything. my body's hurting, and she'll get home and she'll cook, and then she'll start the laundry, and then she's doing dishes, and she's getting the kids ready. And I'm like, babe, I'm sorry I didn't help you today. Like I'm hurting pretty bad. Like my whole body's hurting. And she's like, that's okay. But, I see you on Wednesdays, and like you're running around with the kids and you're hanging out with the youth and you're doing all these things. So it checked me. I was just like, you're right. Like I'm giving over all that I've got, during
Right.
youth, which is what we're supposed to do. But then I'm not giving that same effort to my wife, even if I might be hurting. Like, I can get up and do something like.
Right.
So I really got checked on that, and I think I apologized then. I'll apologize now.
Ooh, publicly.
I'm sorry.
And recorded
I'm
in
sorry,
video.
babe. I love you. I love you. Hello.
Yep.
Oh, I shouldn't even hear it.
I'm here. I love
I was like, oh,
Was that shock?
you. I'm here.
yeah.
I'm not asleep.
But yeah, I know that's one thing I've always got to check myself on is making sure I'm not just focusing on my job. I'm not just focusing on the youth and my kids. I want to focus more on my wife and what she needs,
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. But anybody got anything else left on their heart?
No.
Oh, sissy, I can't wait to get home and kiss your face. Are you daddy's baby or mommy's baby?
Stop.
She just said stop.
Do y'all have anything?
I think I'm good. You good? I think we're good.
All right.
How about you, Jamie? You got anything you want to add?
No. No.
we're all done. We're all tapped out.
That is to be just the ending.
All right. Well, hey, thank you everybody for joining us. This has been Almost Brothers podcast with Michael and Jeremiah and the wives. Remember, if you don't have a home church, come check us out at the Lighthouse in Dexter, 8:30 outside in the parking lot, 10 o'clock inside. We love y'all.